Rice, unquestionably a major staple in Nigeria and consumed in many forms. Though its origin lies in distant lands, the rice crop is one which Nigeria's soil and climate allows for all-year cultivation. However, Nigeria has over the years been unable to grow enough rice to feed its ever-increasing population and relies on import to augment a production deficit of about 1.9 million metric tons. Indeed, the country is estimated to spend a whopping 1 billion naira daily on rice importation. Over the years, the local rice production business had been fraught with enormous viability concerns as key quality parameters could not be attained, prompting Nigerian consumers to develop a morbid appetite for imported rice. Indeed, something had to be done. In late 2011, the country launched its agricultural transformation agenda and signaled its intention to undertake measures aimed at promoting local capacity for efficient rice production. A critical aspect of this plan is the mission to end Nigeria's massive importation of rice by the year 2015.
Nigeria can produce rice everywhere. In fact, in this country, you can produce upland rice, you can produce lowland rice, you can do it in the Fadama areas, you can do it in the swamps of South. You can do rice, floating rice also. So you can do rice everywhere. We have massive amount of land. Nigeria has no business importing rice. Nigeria should be a net exporter of rice.
3 years down the line, questions are being asked as to the status of Nigeria's expressed ambition in rice production. The country's minister, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, was quoted as saying that Nigeria has achieved as much as 85% of the country's total import substitution requirement. This means the Nigerian rice farmers had produced an average of 2.9 million metric tons of paddy rice in 2013. Many voices have risen in condemnation of the minister for what they term deceitful statistics. In other words, and as some of them have not been reluctant to state, the minister had lied when he made these assertions. Now, who do we believe? Agro-Nigeria set out to ascertain the true position of things. Our objective was simple: to answer whether Nigerian farmers have considerably upped their game in producing rice. Can they produce enough, even, in the next 12 to 14 months as to justify the contemplated decision to ban rice importation into the country? Or is the situation in keeping with what septuagenarian Vanguard columnist Dele Shobowale called the most ridiculous thing anybody in any government, federal, state or local, had uttered in a long time in Nigeria? There was only one way to find out, and that didn't entail making phone calls from behind a desk. Instead, it required boots on the ground. I had to set out on a walk through the rice corridor. chose to start from Abakaliki, the home of the famous rice milling cluster. The aim was to determine whether the minister's point about the existence of the proficient small-scale rice milling enclave in the southeastern part of Nigeria was true. It was quite a sight. Milling was going on in any direction you chose to look. It was amazing to find that all of this could be going on without any meaningful form of governmental support. The sheer demonstration of dexterity and grit on the part of the millers gave you a sense of what the can-do spirit in the average Nigerian can achieve. From Abakaliki, we moved to Kogi State, where we spent time in Ida, Ejulojebe, and Kotonkarfi, all in different local governments of the state. How had rice impacted on the lives of farmers, we asked. What do the farmers expect from their government? Again, can they up their game sufficiently as to be able to meet the demand of the populace come 2015? For these answers we sought Isaac Abuma, a farmer in Ejulojebe, made his point about what rice farming means to him and his family of 10 children and 2 wives.
You are welcome to my house. This is my compound. I've been here for over 40 years now. I'm a farmer. So I farm about 3 different type of crops. 1, rice, yam, and maize, to feed my family and train them also. I have 10 children from my 2 wives. Out of what I realized from my farm, I use in training my children. So that is what I depend on. I'm a farmer. Formerly, we farm locally. Yeah? But presently, government has sent some extension workers to give us training how to plant our crop in the farm, how to space them, and the type and the varieties of rice that is able to produce very fine. So from that experience, we are able to realize better, higher yield.
On the farm, he is quick to underscore the changes that have been noticed over the past 3 years. Abuma tells me that he is not a recipient of the growth enhancement support of the government. According to him, he had thought it was a fluke when it started, but now he knows better. For Adamu Ibrahim Andagara, Sarkin Noma of Kotonkarfi, in Kogi local government area of the state, or Esther Audu, a rice farmer in the Lokoja rice cultivation spread, it is a new dawn for Nigerian rice farmers in particular.
Today, with the federal government agricultural transformation agenda, I think we are equal to the task. We are collecting fertilizer and subsidized inputs such as rice and maize. Today, if you see from the farm here, it is the improved rice seedling from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture that we have planted in this field. And today, we want to thank God Almighty that with the little fertilizer we have collected, it will make us to increase our rice production for this year. Our highest regards goes to the minister. While because without his initiative, without his meaningful attention to this program, it would have failed since all this while.
It's very effective. Before now, the farmer doesn't have access to fertilizer. You only plant and plant and plant. At the end of the day, you just get little that you and your family will eat. But this present administration, they are really working on commercial farming. If you will be surprised that some women here right now, they have up to 5 hectares, managing 5 hectares of rice farm. The program of ATA is a program that has come to improve the life of farmers. Before now, we don't have access to fertilizer, no improved seed. But now, even before this rainy season, we have gotten our seed, our fertilizer, waiting for time of planting. Before now, there was nothing like that.
For the government, Medugu Sunday, Director of Agricultural Services in the State Ministry of Agriculture, was very forthcoming.
The state government, as I've said, has keyed into the agricultural transformation agenda of the federal government. So the state is participating in all the activities of ATA, of the federal government of Nigeria. And even 2013, the state benefited a lot from the federal government through provision of improved rice seeds and also the support from government, from the federal ministry to farmers in form of land clearing in the state. So, and we have been benefiting from the federal government through the growth enhancement support program, through provision of agricultural seeds and also agricultural inputs like fertilizers to our farmers in the state. And that's the system whereby our farmers will pay 50% of the cost of the fertilizers, while the state and federal government will pay the balance of the 50%. So we have been doing that one religiously. We have not deviated from that, and we have been doing it as it is.
As was Engineer S. Edibo, Regional Director in charge of the North Central for the Federal Ministry.
With the coming of ATA, a lot of farmers in the North Central regions, excess of 1.5 million, have been able to access this input at the critical period, and that has increased production and productivity in the region. I can tell you that most of the farmers you see now are happy that ATA is in existence, because they are no more shortchanged by the middlemen of this critical input.
My journey then took me to Nasarawa State. Why did I need to be there? Well, I have heard of the phenomenal investment of Olam in rice, and I simply could not wait to confirm it. If you must know, nothing I had heard prepared me for what I saw. This project undoubtedly was a monumental statement of confidence by an agribusiness investor in the government's agricultural transformation agenda. All through the time you spend on what they call the campus, the overbearing figure of the rice mill remains in sight. As Reggie George puts it, the project provides a profound developmental benefit not only to the state but to the local governments and communities around it.
This farm employs around 1,000 people on a daily basis, and out of our total employment strength, close to 95% is from the nearby communities, essentially from the Dawama local government area of Nasarawa State.
Jagdish Tamak, chief agronomist of the project, insisted that I see the farm, and to this I acceded.
We are growing rice now here in 3,000 hectare area, and now you can see the combined harvesting is going on. This combine can harvest 2 hectare in 1 hour, and in a day of 10-hour harvest it can do 20 hectares harvesting. And this combine can harvest under wet conditions, since it is used with the tracks on the front and it has 4-wheel drive. This is the mechanical harvesting which is happening in Nigeria at Olam Rice Farm.
What a spread it was, complete with irrigation infrastructure. It was obvious to me that this company means business. As Edwards Musumba, head of irrigation for the project, describes it, the irrigation channeling of the project is done with very deliberate objectives in mind.
what we did first is to come and we did the access lot, from which you can see from the other side, and from there, once we get the water movement under control, we try to drain the land so that it can dry for our operations to start. And where we had some trees, like on the other side, you may be able to see, we had to come in and do the bush clearing, and then from there now we go ahead and do the survey, so that we are able to see the terrain or the land, and then from the survey now we are able to do the designs of the field layout, the plots, as you can see, which are here.
For Honorable Dankadi Usha, the Commissioner for Agriculture of the state, the prospects for local production of rice makes it incumbent that importation be stopped.
I'm of the view that ban and then encourage our farmers. We can only, in advanced country, the government, like this Ministry of Agriculture, is a social service. The government is supposed to vote huge amount of money without a recourse of any interest. Government give money to farmers, and at the same time, they purchase their produce and store, package it, and then send to the market.
In truth, the uniform testimony of stakeholders on the ground tends to show that change has come and is being felt. At this point, I'll take my journey further, and my next stop is Niger State.